Something truly incredible is happening out there in space, and you have no idea how big this actually is. It's challenging everything we thought we understood about comets. And folks, we're talking about none other than the third interstellar object, 3I Atlas. Though it has already shown a fair share of unusual stuff, this time, however, it is actually releasing something interesting, something that is only found in human technology. This video is about to get really interesting, so I suggest you all keep watching. You see, at first glance, it kind of seems really familiar. Just another icy traveler from beyond our solar system, drifting silently through space. But once scientists looked closer, they found signs that this object wasn't just unusual. It might be something we've actually never seen before. We're not talking about small oddities either. We're talking about a comet that might not even behave like a comet at all. So what exactly is going on with 3I Atlas? And why are even Harvard astrophysicists saying things like, this was never observed for any other object? Let's break it all down together. First things first, 3I Atlas is interstellar. That means it's not from our solar system. It's just passing through. It was first discovered on July 1st, 2025, and it immediately grabbed the attention of astronomers because of its hyperbolic orbit, meaning it's flying through, not orbiting around. This is only the third time we've ever seen something like this, after Oumuamua in 2017 and 2I Borisov in 2019. Already, that makes it rare. But what's happened since its discovery is what's turning heads and sparking theories that range from weird to potentially revolutionary. Just a few weeks ago, new images of 3I Atlas were released. These weren't just pretty snapshots. They were taken by the powerful Keck 2 telescope in Hawaii, one of the most advanced ground-based observatories on the planet. And what those images revealed was not normal at all. According to telescope data, 3I Atlas is releasing a plume of material containing roughly 4 grams of nickel per second. That's a lot of nickel, but it's not just the amount, it's the absence of iron that makes this so strange. You see, in every comet we've ever studied, when nickel shows up, so does iron. The two metals are usually found in comparable amounts. They go hand in hand. But with 3I Atlas, only nickel. That's never been seen before. And it's leading scientists to ask a very uncomfortable question. Where the heck is the iron? This is where things start to sound like science fiction, but remember, we're sticking to what scientists are actually saying. Dr. Avi Loeb, a renowned astrophysicist at Harvard University, recently weighed in on the discovery. He pointed out that nickel without iron is something you don't find in nature. At least, not in space. But you do find it in one place, Dr. Loeb explained. There is only one place where that is known to exist, and that is in industrially produced nickel alloys. In other words, what's being released from this comet looks more like a product of technology than a natural formation. And before you ask, yes, Dr. Loeb is the same scientist who suggested that Oumuamua might have been an artificial object. He's no stranger to proposing bold ideas. But this time, the data seems to be pushing the conversation in that direction on its own. Because as far as anyone can tell, comets don't make this kind of metal on their own. Let's talk chemistry. Cyanide and nickel plumes. Beyond just nickel, the telescope also detected cyanide gas, or more technically CN, in the area surrounding the comet. Now, cyanide in comets isn't that strange. We've seen it before. But what's unusual is how these gases are being released in very specific, structured patterns according to the Keck 2 data. The emission from nickel is especially centrally concentrated, meaning it's coming straight from the heart of the comet, not being randomly scattered across the coma. The researchers who posted their findings to the ArXiv preprint server suggested a few possibilities. One theory involves something called metal carbonyls, which are compounds where metal atoms bond with carbon monoxide. Interestingly, metal carbonyls are highly unstable and easily dissociate under light or heat, releasing the metal inside. There's one more strange feature to discuss, and this one's visible from telescopes. When we think of comets, we usually imagine a tail trailing behind them, a beautiful glowing line pointing away from the sun, caused by solar wind pushing gas and dust outward. But 3I Atlas is doing something else entirely. It has what astronomers are calling an anti-solar tail. Let's pause on that. An anti-tail is a tail that appears to be pointing toward the sun instead of away from it. That's not something we see often. It's rare and hard to explain. According to Loeb and others reviewing the images, there was no clear tail pointing away from the sun like we'd expect. Instead, what we're seeing is a strange structure that seems to go against the normal physics of how solar wind interacts with cometary dust. Does this mean it's actively maneuvering? Probably not. But it's one more way 3I Atlas is not fitting the mold. So what exactly makes this so groundbreaking? Let's recap. First, we have an object from outside our solar system. Next, it's emitting a metal alloy that looks like something made in a factory. Third, there's no iron, only nickel, something never before seen in space. Also, the emission pattern suggests non-random structured processes. Next, it has an anti-tail, a tail pointing in the opposite direction of what's expected. And last but not the least, its chemistry matches materials we associate with human technology. If that doesn't challenge what we know about comets, I don't know what does. Now, before this turns into an episode of Ancient Aliens, no, scientists are not saying that 3I Atlas is a flying saucer or an alien technology. Dr. Avi Loeb, the Harvard astrophysicist who's become a central voice in the conversation, isn't claiming that this is proof of alien life. Neither are the observatories or research teams collecting the data. You see, the more we learn about 3I Atlas, the harder it becomes to explain what we're seeing using the usual comet playbook. A plume of nickel without iron, structured outgassing patterns, a rare anti-tail, strange chemistry, stable trajectory. All of this from an object that isn't even from our solar system. Maybe it's artificial, not necessarily a spaceship, not necessarily piloted, but perhaps a probe, a fragment of machinery, a remnant from a civilization far away, long ago, or even now. And here's the key idea: entertaining that possibility is not unscientific. Science doesn't mean rejecting strange ideas. It means testing them, scrutinizing them, asking questions that make us uncomfortable. Because if we've only ever studied natural comets, then how would we even know what an unnatural one looks like? So no, we're not jumping to conclusions. But when you observe things that no comet has ever done, you don't just dismiss it. You run the tests again. You question your assumptions. You ask, what else could explain this? And if that answer leads to something extraordinary, then maybe that's where the truth was waiting all along. 3I Atlas might not be alien technology, but it's acting just strange enough that we'd be foolish not to ask the question. And science at its best is exactly that, the courage to ask. Let's say, just for a moment, that 3I Atlas isn't just a comet. Let's play with that possibility, not out of fantasy, but out of intellectual honesty. Because if you really want to explore the unknown, you can't only look for what you expect. You have to stay open to what doesn't fit. And right now, 3I Atlas is showing some serious signs that don't fit. What we're dealing with could be the edge case, the one object that doesn't follow the rules, because maybe it wasn't designed to. And that's important because history is full of moments where we thought we understood nature, until one anomaly forced us to rethink everything. Take radioactivity. For years, scientists believed atoms were solid, indivisible. Then along came a rock that glowed in the dark and shattered that idea. Take pulsars. When astronomers first detected repeating radio pulses from space in the 1960s, they literally labeled them LGM, little green men. It turned out to be a natural phenomenon, sure, but that's not the point. The point is, we considered every possibility before ruling anything out. That's what real science does. So here's the deal with 3I Atlas. If this were our first comet ever discovered, we might think comets always behave this way. But we've studied thousands of them. We know the patterns, and this one is breaking those patterns. It's not releasing iron alongside nickel. Its tail doesn't act like a tail. Its gas emissions are organized, not random, and its orbit is unusually smooth, like it's holding a course. And then you look at the composition, material resembling nickel alloys produced in factories here on Earth. And that's when the questions start getting louder. What makes this difficult is that we're trying to recognize signs of technology without knowing what alien technology would look like. We only have Earth as a reference point, so maybe this object is totally natural, just from a region of space where chemistry follows different rules. But here's what makes 3I Atlas different from every other strange object we've seen. It's not just one weird feature, it's a combination of them. Each could be explained away on its own, but all together, That's where it starts to feel like a pattern, or at the very least, a message in the noise. So what happens next? As of now, 3I Atlas is heading closer to the Sun. It'll reach its closest point, or perihelion, on October 29, 2025, at around 1.36 AU from the Sun. That gives scientists more time to gather data, more time to point their instruments, more time to see if anything else strange happens. And here's the thing, if this object is really as unique as it seems, it's going to keep surprising us. Will we find a natural explanation for the missing iron? Will we uncover evidence of exotic chemistry that mimics industrial processes? Or will something even stranger happen? Nobody knows yet, and that's what makes this so exciting. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel because more exciting, informative space videos are on your way.